Has parental alienation been debunked? Is it junk science? Should there be parental alienation reunification camps? Yes, because they work, and parental alienation has sound scientific support. Reunification therapy has been tested, peer-reviewed, and been found to be effective in treating severe parental alienation. I am aware of the criticism on social media for reunification camps that include videos of children complaining about them, ProPublica articles, and Colorado and California reform legislation. But here's what gets missed, especially in the reform efforts. Family court judges sometimes get it wrong, especially on parental alienation. Why? Because it's counterintuitive. It's a highly specialized field of law, the subject of gross misinformation, and courts suffer from a lack of adequate training for all legal professionals involved. Further compounding court mistakes is that the burden of proof in a civil trial is only preponderance of the evidence, suggesting that a party only needs to have 51% of the evidence to tip the scales of justice ever so slightly to win a custody decision, and 75% of the evidence, a clear and convincing evidence standard, to terminate another parent's rights. In contrast, a judge or jury can incarcerate or put to death an individual on an evidentiary standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, which is 95% of the evidence approximately, and we know from DNA evidence and overturned convictions that judges and juries get it wrong sometimes, even when they're 95% sure. Studies vary regarding false convictions. Some suggest that they're wrong, juries are wrong, only 8% of the time or so, relying on interviews of convicted inmates. And other studies suggest that it can be as high as 23% of the time, relying on disagreements between judge and jury on the guilt or innocence of a defendant. Decisions on civil claims to determine allegations of abuse are based upon that preponderance of the evidence standard, and slightly half of the evidence in a criminal trial. Therefore, they're much more likely to have a higher rate of error, since less evidence needs to be presented. Further complicating matters in civil cases is that parents lie and present false evidence in custody court without consequences. With the anti-domestic violence lobby, there is criticism on the application of parental alienation, that it's used by abusers to wrongly defeat claims against abuse allegations. And the ultimate issue of fact in these child abuse versus parental alienation cases is, which side is the abuser? Is it the alleged alienator, guilty of psychological abuse, or the unfavored parent, where the contact refusal is actually a result of actual child abuse? Or is it neither of them? Or is it both? Abuse cases often involve a narcissist, described as master manipulators, cool, calm, charming, and convincing, making it harder for untrained professionals to detect false claims. Complicating things even further, for abuse cases, there's an adversarial court system that often turns into a battle of experts who are retained by zealous advocates for the parents only, not the children. According to case law, expert opinion testimony is only as good as the evidence provided by the attorneys to that expert, and the attorneys have an ethical obligation to present a case most favorable to their client. In cases of parental alienation, severe parental alienation, where the court issues a no-contact order for the favored parent and orders the child to end 4 days of intensive reunification therapy at a remote location, the court of public opinion wrongly vilifies the expert witnesses in these cases when it appears that things went wrong. The blame should actually be on the court and the attorneys, or at the very least, shared across the entire system. Where there's problems with criminal court, some advocates have wrongfully called for defunding the police, which in turn leads to more crime and chaos. In family court, critics have wrongfully spread misinformation that parental alienation is junk science, debunked, or controversial, and wrongfully criticize experts who hold the reunification therapy. Parental alienation reunification is no more controversial than the field of psychology itself, and ignoring it and pretending that parental alienation science is debunked, is junk science, or doesn't exist, will likely lead to more problems and more child abuse. In conclusion, well-informed, well-written rules and laws designed to improve child custody proceedings, particularly involving severe parental alienation, should always be considered along with all available science and research, including parental alienation theory. The problem is that current reform measures promoted by domestic violence advocates only require training for court personnel and professionals to complete training on domestic violence and child abuse. Laws should require training on the counterintuitive aspects of parental alienation and in-depth judicial training as well. This will improve the accuracy of court decisions and ensure that children receive the proper treatment for cases of severe abuse, including parental alienation. See the description portion of this video for more information on the counterintuitive nature of parental alienation and support for the concept of parental alienation in the DSM-5.